You already know the number. You do not have to think about it. It lives in you. You wake up with it. You carry it through every conversation, every meal, every quiet moment that is supposed to feel restful but does not. That number, whether it is what you owe, what you lack, what you have lost, or what you fear, that number has become the background noise of your entire life, and you are exhausted, not from working, from carrying it. Here is what almost no one tells you. That exhaustion is not coming from the money. It is coming from one sentence that you have been saying silently, every day, sometimes dozens of times, that is feeding the anxiety faster than any bill ever could. You do not know you are saying it. You have never said it out loud, but it is running inside you right now, quietly, like a machine that never turns off. By the time this video ends, you will know exactly what that sentence is, and you will have something to replace it with, something that your nervous system can actually receive. Not a mantra, not a hope, a sentence with weight, with truth, with the specific kind of power that can begin to shift something in 24 hours, not because it is magic, but because of exactly how the brain responds to language under stress. I will show you the science. I will show you the story. I will show you the sentence. But first, I need you to feel completely understood, because if you do not feel understood, nothing else I say will matter. You are not broke in the way people assume. You are not reckless. You are not irresponsible. Most people watching this have not done anything catastrophically wrong. You made the decisions that made sense at the time. You tried, you adjusted, you worked. And still, something never quite settled. The anxiety persists. And what makes it worse is that you cannot always explain it to the people around you. Sometimes the numbers are actually okay, and you are still lying awake at 3 a.m. running calculations in your head that lead nowhere. That is financial anxiety, not financial failure. Financial anxiety. And they are not the same thing. Financial anxiety is what happens when your nervous system decides that money is a survival threat, not just a practical concern, but an existential one. When that decision gets made, your brain stops treating money as information and starts treating it as danger. Every bank notification becomes a potential wound. Every unexpected expense becomes evidence of something. Evidence that you cannot trust life. Evidence that safety is always one thing away from collapsing. Evidence that no matter how hard you try, the ground beneath you is not quite solid. And you smile at work, you show up, you answer the messages, you handle the things, and then you come home, or you lie down, or you get a quiet moment, and the weight comes back, not loudly, just there, always there, a low hum beneath everything. That feeling is not weakness. That is not proof you are failing. That is proof you have been carrying something real, alone, for a very long time. And the part of you that kept trying anyway, that is not small. That is extraordinary. That is the part I am speaking to tonight. Now, let me show you the pattern. There is something I call survival forecasting. It is not a clinical term. It is the name I give to a very specific mental habit that lives inside almost everyone who struggles with financial anxiety. Here is what it looks like. Your brain, wired for survival, does not evaluate money in the present. It evaluates money in the worst possible future. Every time you look at your account, your brain is not asking, what is true right now? It is asking, what could go wrong? What is the most dangerous version of this? What is the scenario in which this becomes catastrophic? And here is why that matters. When your brain runs that simulation, and it runs it fast, faster than you can interrupt, your body responds as if the worst-case future is already happening. Cortisol rises, the chest tightens, the stomach drops, and then you try to think clearly about money while your body is in a state of threat response. It is like trying to solve a math problem while someone holds a flame near your hand. The thinking center of your brain goes partially offline, and so the decisions feel harder, the options feel fewer, the future feels darker than it is. This pattern did not form because something is wrong with you. It formed because something hurt you. Maybe money was chaos when you were young. Maybe you watched a parent disappear under debt. Maybe you had a period of genuine financial crisis and your nervous system learned a lesson it never unlearned. Maybe no one ever taught you that money could be neutral, that it was just a tool, not a verdict on your worth. Whatever shaped it, your brain was trying to protect you. Survival forecasting is not a flaw, it is loyalty to an old danger. The work is not to shame it, the work is to update it. And this is where one sentence can begin to do something real. I am not behind, I am becoming what money has never broken. Say it quietly, let it sit for a moment. Do not judge whether it feels true yet. Just let it move through the room you are sitting in right now. Now, let me show you the mechanism. Because I do not want you to take this on faith. I want you to understand exactly why this works, and I want you to feel smarter at the end of this section than you did at the beginning. There are 3 principles at work here. 3 real things that psychology has documented, not theories, not ideas, but patterns observed in human nervous systems under financial stress. The first principle is called linguistic reorientation. When your brain is in a threat state, the language it uses internally is the language of emergency, short sentences, present tense, danger framing. Research on cognitive behavioral approaches to anxiety shows that when you introduce a counterstatement in the same short declarative structure, your brain registers it as competing information rather than ignoring it. Most affirmations fail because they are too long, too abstract, or too future-focused. They feel like wishes, but a sentence that is rhythmically matched to the threat, emotionally grounded, and true in at least some dimension of your experience. That sentence can interrupt the threat loop, not eliminate it, interrupt it. And that interruption creates a gap. And in that gap, something can shift. A woman in her late 50s had been in financial anxiety for 11 years following a divorce that left her with debt she did not know existed. She tried budgets. She tried affirmations. She tried therapy focused entirely on action steps. Nothing touched the internal noise. When she was given one sentence, not a strategy, just a sentence, to say aloud each morning before opening her phone, something changed in the first week. Not her bank account, her relationship to the alarm. She said, "The sentence did not fix anything, but it stopped me from starting every day already behind." The second principle is called temporal anchoring. Financial anxiety lives almost entirely in the future. That is its address. It does not live in this breath. It lives in next month, next year, the worst version of 5 years from now. The sentence I am giving you tonight is not future tense. It is present and past combined. I am not behind, present. I am becoming, present continuous. What money has never broken, a fact grounded in your past survival. When you anchor language in the present and in evidence of past resilience, you pull the anxious mind out of the imagined future and back into the body that is, right now, still here, still functional, still breathing. That movement, from future catastrophe to present reality, is measurable in the nervous system. The cortisol response decreases. The prefrontal cortex comes back online. Thinking gets clearer, decisions get more available. Someone who had lost everything twice, a business, then a marriage, found himself unable to sleep for more than 4 hours at a time for nearly 2 years. Not from grief, from the particular terror of not knowing if he could rebuild again. He was not failing. He was in survival forecasting at its most consuming. When he began anchoring to what was presently true, not what might happen, but what had already survived, his sleep began to return. Within 3 weeks, 4 hours became 6, not because his finances changed, because his nervous system found a present moment to land in. The third principle is called identity encoding. This is the one most people miss, and it is the most powerful. Financial anxiety is not just about money. Over time, it becomes about identity. It quietly teaches you a story, that you are the kind of person who struggles with this, that you are behind, that you are less capable, less safe, less worthy of ease than people who seem to have it together. That story is not facts, but it feels like facts. And identity stories are sticky. They resist new information unless they are directly countered with a competing identity statement. Not a feel-good one, a true one. One that speaks to your actual history. What money has never broken, that is you. That is your body. That is your capacity to survive, to adapt, to still be here watching this tonight after everything you have already been through. That is not small. That is the foundation of a new identity around money. Not rich, not fixed, just unbroken. I am not behind. I am becoming what money has never broken. Say it slowly now. Out loud if you can. Let your own voice carry it. Say it again. If this feels true in you tonight, if something in those words just named what you have been living, write this in the comments and let your own words witness you. I am not behind. I am becoming what money has never broken. Let that be the first time you say it publicly. Let the comment section hold it for you. Now I want to tell you about a practice, not steps, not a system, a nightly experience, something you can begin tonight, in the next hour, before you sleep. When the day is done, when the doing is finished, find 2 minutes before you close your eyes. Not 10 minutes, not a meditation session. 2 minutes. Sit up if you can, or lie still with your eyes open for just a moment. Feel where you are. Feel the surface beneath you. Feel the temperature of the room. This is not a technique. This is just returning. Returning to the present moment that your anxious mind spent all day fleeing. And then say the sentence, not loudly, not with intensity, with the quietness of something you are beginning to believe. I am not behind. I am becoming what money has never broken. Let it sit in your chest for a breath. Notice if your jaw releases even slightly. Notice if your shoulders drop even half an inch. Your nervous system is listening. It is not dramatic. It is not a transformation in 2 minutes. But it is a signal that the day is over and survival mode can pause. And when you sleep after sending that signal, your brain files it differently. Sleep is when emotional memory consolidates. When you give your nervous system a true, grounded, non-threatening statement as its last waking input, that statement gets stored with a different emotional charge. Not as noise, as something worth keeping. Do this for 7 nights. Not because magic happens on day 7, because repetition is how the brain decides what is real. The first night, it is a new thought. By the 7th night, it is beginning to be a familiar one. Familiar things feel safer. Safer things reduce the cortisol. Lower cortisol means clearer thinking. Clearer thinking means better choices. Better choices begin to change the material reality, slowly, from the ground up. I am not behind. I am becoming what money has never broken. If something in the last few minutes just settled in you, like a quiet recognition rather than a new idea, tap like, not for the video, for the part of you that recognized something true. Now I want to tell you a story. She was 53. She had spent most of her adult life doing everything right by the standards she had been handed. Married at 26, house at 30, kids enrolled in good schools, a career that looked steady from the outside, administrative work, consistent hours, reliable enough pay. She was not wealthy, but she was not supposed to be afraid. And then one particular Tuesday in November, she remembers it was a Tuesday. She remembers the grey light coming through the kitchen window. She remembers standing at the counter holding a bill she had not expected. Everything she had constructed felt suddenly, very quietly, like it could come apart. It was not the bill. She had handled unexpected bills before. It was something underneath the bill, the realization that she had been managing, only managing, that there was no cushion, that one thing, one more thing, could tip the whole arrangement. And she had known this for years. She had managed not to look directly at it for years. But on that Tuesday, in that grey light, she looked. What followed was not a crisis by anyone else's definition. She did not lose the house. She did not file for bankruptcy. From the outside, nothing changed at all. But inside, a terror had been named. And once named, it spread. Into every morning. into every social situation that involved spending money she did not have easily, into every conversation with her daughter about college, into the particular silence that happened when her husband talked about retirement, as if it was something they were moving toward, and she could not find the words to say, "I am not sure we are." She tried a budget. She stuck with it for 3 weeks. She tried a financial podcast. It made the anxiety worse. All those voices talking about wealth building to someone who was just trying not to leak. She tried not thinking about it. That lasted a few days. The anxiety always returned, louder for having been suppressed. What she had not tried was the language. Not the language of strategy, the language of identity. Someone close to her, not a therapist, not a financial advisor, just someone who had been through their own financial unraveling and come out the other side, said one thing to her that she had not heard before. She said, "You have survived every financial hard thing that has come for you so far. Not gracefully, not without pain, but you have survived every single one. That is not nothing. That is actually everything." And something in that landed differently than advice. It did not tell her what to do. It told her who she already was. She began to say something quietly to herself each night. Not a prayer, not an affirmation she had read somewhere, just a statement of what was actually true, that she was still here, that money had come for her in various forms, various shapes, various ambushes, and she was still here, still the woman standing in the kitchen, still the one who made the decisions, still the one who had not, in 27 years of adulthood, let the whole thing collapse. She had caught it. She had renegotiated it. She had improvised it. She had held it together through things she had never been trained for. She was not behind. She was becoming what money had never broken. In the weeks after that realization, the material facts of her life did not change immediately. The bill got paid, another one came. The budget was still difficult. The conversations about retirement were still hard to have. But something in how she moved through those facts shifted. She began to spend less energy in the morning running worst-case simulations and more energy in the morning actually deciding what the day needed. She began to speak to her husband about money without the particular shame that had made those conversations feel like confessions. She began to ask for a raise at work, something she had been avoiding for 4 years, not because she felt financially secure, but because she felt that she had a right to ask, that she was not someone to be bypassed. Within 6 months, something had shifted materially too. Not dramatically, not a windfall. A raise that was smaller than she wanted, but real. A conversation with a financial counselor that finally felt like information rather than judgment. A small emergency fund that she started not because she felt she could afford to, but because she felt she deserved to have something waiting for her when the next unexpected Tuesday arrived. She told someone, "I did not fix my finances by getting better at money. I fixed them by stopping the war inside my head long enough to think." That is what one sentence can do. Not all at once, but unmistakably. I am not behind. I am becoming what money has never broken. Now here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, I am asking you to do one thing, once in the morning, before you open your phone or check any number or begin any task. Say the sentence, out loud if you can, at a volume you can hear yourself. Say it upon waking, before the day has a chance to frame itself in fear. Then once more at night, at the edge of sleep, when your nervous system is most open to receiving something new. 2 times a day, 7 days, 14 repetitions. That is your contract with yourself, not with me. With yourself. Small enough to be real, consistent enough to matter. The work is not the sentence. The work is choosing to say it when the anxiety says there is nothing to say. Now, we are here, in this moment. This room, this breath. Everything that brought you to this video tonight was pointing somewhere. The late nights, the quiet fear, the exhaustion of carrying something no one else could see. All of it was pointing to this, that you are someone who refuses to give up, even tired, even uncertain, even after trying things before that did not hold. You are still here. You are still watching. You are still looking for the one thing that might finally move something. That is not desperation. That is a particular kind of courage that most people do not have a name for. The shift does not require your circumstances to change first. It requires your internal language to change first. It requires you to stop opening every day, already prosecuting yourself for being behind some standard, some timeline, some version of where you thought you would be by now. You are not behind. You are exactly at the edge of the version of yourself that money has not yet been able to break. And it has tried. You know it has tried. The bills, the sleepless nights, the social events you avoided, the things you could not give your children or yourself or the people you love. The particular ache of watching others seem to move through money easily, while it has always felt like friction for you. All of that. All of it. And you are still here. Still choosing. Still watching a video at this hour because some part of you knows something has to shift. That part is right. Something has shifted. Tonight. In this room. In whatever quiet corner you are sitting in right now. Say it one last time. Not as practice, as arrival. I am not behind. I am becoming what money has never broken. That is not a wish. That is a fact you are choosing to finally believe. If this felt like it was written for you, because in a deeper way it was, welcome home to Healing Love Space.